The president appears to be lashing out over an impeachment inquiry against him. Yesterday, he compared it to a lynching. That tweet, of course, sparked outrage and came as the acting U.S. ambassador to Ukraine testified before Congress.
During his testimony, Ambassador Bill Taylor told lawmakers that the president directed officials to tie foreign aid for Ukraine to demands that the country open investigations into the Biden family and the 2016 election. Joining us to discuss that testimony, as well as the impeachment inquiry, is Democratic Congressman Mark DeSaulnier of California. He serves on the House Oversight Committee. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Absolutely. So, Congressman, tell us a little bit about your reaction to the testimony yesterday and how soon we can expect a vote on impeachment within the House of Representatives.
Well, I guess I wasn't surprised, given what I've been able to read and watch of this administration, this president. But was surprising was how clear it was that this was a quid pro quo. And in spite of his denials, it was very clear that he was leveraging almost $400 billion of security support and also the meeting in the White House. So it was very clear when Ambassador Taylor spoke.
Do you think that this testimony will change the calculus of some of your Republican colleagues? Are they telling you anything behind the scenes?
I don't know. You know, as in any job, you develop friendships with people who frequently you don't agree with. I really don't know. You know, this is so different from when I was a young man. We went through Watergate, where you had people on the Republican side who agreed that a line had been crossed ethically, and the lines have changed apparently in the country right now.
Well, Congressman, we do know, though, that, I mean, ultimately the aid was given, and much of these, public declarations didn't happen. So is it fair to call it a quid pro quo if the quo never actually happened?
Yes, there was an expectation. And clearly, to me, in almost any other time in American history, this would be unacceptable. So the president has been very successful at moving the line in terms of what is proper and what is improper. That's his personality. That's, I guess, what's made him successful in the business world. But in the President of the United States, if we keep moving these ethical boundaries and constitutional boundaries, it's not a slippery slope, it's a cliff. And we have to stand up for a very basic level of constitutional moral authority, and clearly he's crossed it in my view.
Yeah, so we understand your view on the president. I do want to ask you, though, about the situation with the Bidens. In a future potential Democratic presidential administration, do you think it would be appropriate for the family member, the son of the president or the vice president, to be sitting on the board of an energy company in a country where they maintain that portfolio?
No, he should not have been. It was wrong. And they have said it was wrong. Having said that, that'll be part of the campaign. The vice president is not the president of the United States right now. He's not in office. But there's no defending, in my view, what they did. That shouldn't have been done. It was inappropriate. But it's different, in my view, from a sitting president asking another president of a foreign country to do him a political favor, in his words, favor, in order for him to get reelected and withhold American assets to a very, very, very important ally and a very important opponent of Vladimir Putin.
So, Congressman, we also, like I asked you in the beginning, I'm very curious about this timing of the vote, because there have been some speculation from your colleagues that if this vote does not happen before the new year, then there's really no point in having the vote in 2020. So do you expect an impeachment vote in the House before the new year?
Yes, but it's important to remember, ultimately the jury is the American people. So we have to build a case, just like a prosecutor would build a case to a jury, and the jury in this case is the American voter in the American population. So they're moving, and I think they'll move more when they start to hear what we have heard from Ambassador Taylor and the corroborating testimony of other people.
What was your reaction to the president comparing this impeachment inquiry to a lynching?
It's awful. I mean, I'm on record. The the president, to me, is a racist. He used that as a code, and he does this frequently. He tries to make himself a victim, oftentimes of things that he is targeting. So in this instance, using that word was, he's very intuitive when it comes to upsetting people and driving us apart. He's good at that.
We should say, Congressman, I mean, Vice President Biden actually used the exact same term in 1998 during that impeachment inquiry. Was it inappropriate when he said it?
I would stay away from words like this, especially, and times have changed since '98. We're more and more aware of what happened in the South. We were aware of it before, but because of good reporting and good historical record, we're more aware of it now. I would disagree with using that word at any time.
Yeah.
Do you think that this testimony will fundamentally change the sort of trajectory of the impeachment inquiry? Where do things go from here?
For me, it did. As somebody who has long felt one of the first people who supported bringing impeachment papers to the floor, I've never felt that this president, and I tried to give him some time when he was first elected, as President Obama and Secretary Clinton suggested, but he doesn't believe in boundaries that the rest of us are held to. He believes that boundaries are to be broken for him, is my belief, and that has led me to the conclusion. But with this testimony, I think, and with everything just reasserting that this president doesn't believe in boundaries and thinks they're there for him to go over, I think more and more the American public, the jury in this case, is seeing that this is unacceptable behavior in the President of the United States.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for joining us, Congressman. We really appreciate it.
Glad to have your time, sir.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Coming up, could Ukraine Gate actually help former Vice President Joe Biden's presidential chances?
Journalist Matt Taibbi, he explains why that might be the case when Rising continues.